Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how to put on a strand of beaded fringe. We started with double knotting our strand. I put it through the fabric, maybe a quarter of an inch or half of an inch from the edge, and then straight through the very edge of the fabric. I'm going to pull that through nice and tight. So I've got my very thin beading needle, and over here you can see my little container that I use for my beads. It's very organized. Alright, we can stop the tape. Okay, so I've just fast forwarded in time, and now you see that I've filled my bead with all these gold hex cut seed beads. Now I probably put on more than I needed to, so I'm going to take my measuring tape and line it up with the very edge of the fabric. Now I want each of these strands of beads to be about 4 inches long. So I see that I'm a little over, and I'm going to take some off so that I'm just under 4 inches. The reason why I want to be just under 4 inches is because I'm going to have to add a round cut seed bead to the very end. So that looks about right. I'm about 1 bead's length away. So I take one of my round golds. You want to get a nice big one. Seed beads are machined, but they come in a variety even in the same package. So you just want to get one that's a little wider than the others, that it goes on really easily. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the exact same seed bead from the strand side back towards the edge. I'm going to pull through it again, and I'm going to use my pliers, because I have to just sort of pull it through. And sometimes you're going to have to try a couple of round seed beads to find one that's going to let you do that. And see, I made a little loop. Now before I pull that tight, I'm basically going to create a knot by going through that loop with the needle. So I've basically gone around the seed bead. I pull it towards the strand, and I tighten that. Now I want to show you real quick, this is what the beads look like when they're too tight. See how that kind of like sticks out on edge? But when you loosen it a little, just by tugging, and you can, even with the knot in there, this round bead would slide up and down if you used enough force. It would travel in the knot. But what we did there with the thread, we basically kind of locked it in place. And we just make sure there's a little play. There's a little more play in there than I want it to be, so I'm just going to push that round seed bead a little closer towards the other beads. And I've just moved it maybe, I don't know, a hair's breadth. So now my next step is double knotting. If you were going to attach a coin, you would loop your coin around now. This is like a coin like this little thing. You would just put the coin on, and then you would do your double knot. But for this particular costume, I'm not using coins. So now I'm going to double knot. I'm going to hold it in my left hand, use the needle with my right, go behind the thread, and pull until there's a loop, and then go through the loop with the needle. And then I hold it, pull that knot till it's small, and then I kind of push it forward, and I want to get that knot as close to the base of my round seed bead as possible. And I'm going to do that a second time. So what we're doing is we're creating a knot that's going to make our thread too big to slip through that seed bead. It basically locks our whole fringe in place, keeps the beads from coming off while you're moving. Pull that knot nice and tight. Our last step is to tug on here, and that makes this knot tight, it makes this knot tight, and it makes sure you have a little give in the fringe. And now we're going to cut it really close. Notice how I'm not right up against the knot. I don't want the knot to unravel. I give the knot a little bit of breathing room. You can see there's some, they've all got it. There's a little bit of white thread off the edges of our knots, and we want that to stay that way. If you wanted to, you could take glue a little bit of crazy glue and just put glue on the ends of each of your knots to make them extra strong. And now we have a strand of beaded fringe. Rinse and repeat.